So I thought Canada was bad, but honestly, Sweden is much worse. There's this 32-year-old girl who is apparently going to face 2 years in prison because she posted some shit about ISIS on Facebook, right? And the meme, the tweet, I'll put in a link to the description below, but it's just a picture of a Muslim guy, it looks like, or an ISIS member, has his, the top of his head cut off, his brain taken out, then shit put back in, and then the last picture is like him like screaming in the air, like, Al Akbar or something, right? So it's actually pretty funny. And that tweet itself is going to land this girl maybe in prison for 2 fucking years. And the most fucked up thing about it is, not even long ago, there was these three Muslim migrants in Sweden who Facebook lived this girl getting raped. And they're only going to face 2 years in prison. And one of them is only going to face 1 year in prison because he's 18. And then the other one who filmed it is going to get like 6 months. So the people in Sweden think that rape is not that big of a deal, I guess. And they think saying like mean things to ISIS is worse. And the fucked up thing about this is there was a reporter that noticed this post from this woman, and then she, reported it to the authorities. So this Sweden is straight up 1984. like honestly, like they're like the little kids that watch the parents, and then if the parents say some wrong thing, they go to the authorities and be like, oh, they turn them in, right? So people, they're gonna have no trust to even speak anymore. Like nobody in Sweden, they're gonna want to say anything because they're gonna be afraid that some guy, maybe two people behind him, is listening in, right, and going to report him to the authorities. Like this is pure insanity. And if they elect the far left party again, then just wave Sweden goodbye, right? And it's like Germany, Merkel, I think she got reelected in Germany, so it's like just forget about Germany, just completely forget about it. Forget about Sweden, most likely, especially if they fuck up in the next election. But not only that, like they are finally starting to acknowledge, the increase of hand grenade attacks and gun violence. Like there's even a post from the New York Times the other day: hand grenades and gang violence rattle Sweden's middle class, right? So they're finally starting to acknowledge it a year after Trump brings it up, and they're calling him racist and a crazy person, right? But now, they look like the idiots because he was fucking right. And you would know that he was right if you weren't in your little ideological bubble. If you actually looked at things other than CNN, you would have known this already. And they're having a problem with hand grenades in Sweden. Like, did anybody really expect this to be an issue in Sweden like 10 years ago? If you told people 10 years ago in Sweden, hey, we're gonna have a massive issue with hand grenades and this going off, killing random innocent civilians and all this shit, and people going away for saying mean things to ISIS members. Like, do you think people would be like, do you think they would believe that? Probably not. And they're kind of like, in this article in the New York Times, they're acknowledging it, but they're still kind of blaming like the laws. It's like, oh, well, we didn't really make the law is stringent enough against grenade attacks, so it's like people that don't really, they didn't get put away enough long for as many years for it. So it's like, no, it's not your laws. It has nothing to do with your laws. It's you bringing in a bunch of fucking Muslim immigrants or refugees, right? Which 4 out of 5 of them are economic migrants. That's what you always got to remember. Like, most of these people are just fleeing poor countries. And a lot of them lie about their age. We know that something like 80 to 90% of them lied about their age. So a lot of them did have gotten lesser sentences because they were younger when they assaulted young girls and stuff. And if you do a DNA test, and I think they figured this out with a couple people that did rape some people, that they were actually adults. So they're getting lesser sentences, and like this Facebook Live thing I talked about, and it's just pure insanity. You know, I don't see how the people in Sweden can take this. I don't see how you take it. But, you know, maybe your school system is even more fucked and more liberal than a Canadian school system, because I don't even see us taking that shit. Like, really, you guys gotta like man up or something and kick these people out of your fucking country. Stop taking this shit. You know, like, I'm not saying go out and be violent, but, you know, your government does not give a shit about you, right? They're trying to put you away for things like hate speech, while they're giving a slap on the wrist to people who rape, you know, your women, people who are in your country, people are throwing grenades around, killing your children, you know, injuring your loved ones. Like, you know, people, stand up. Stop being afraid of the fucking consequences. Because you know what, this woman did get fucked, but you need more people doing this. You need more people speaking about this, because the more people who say stuff like, they can't put all of you in prison, you know, they can't put all of you in jail. And, you know, if enough of you speak up about it, then you can make a change, and it's not too late. But if you just keep, you know, voting in these people, not saying anything, just, you know, not wanting to appear racist and shit, you're gonna get fucked. And there's not gonna be a Sweden left anymore, or the way you remember it. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe, and have a good day. See ya.